Hey, hi guys. So I have decided to make videos on these latest AI tools because a lot of tools coming every week and many people are n- not able to catch up with them. So I'm kind of playing around with all these latest tools which are coming from Anthropic side and even the latest one from NVIDIA side. So talk about me. I'm a experienced machine learning and AI developer. I'm working in this field even before ChatGPT came in the market. So today I'll talk about a very famous AI automation tool. It was automation tool earlier, but now it has been used to build AI agent workflows, uh, deterministic and non-deterministic both kinds of workflows. So this is called N8N, and I'll talk how to install it on Mac, what are the ways to install it, and I'll make some workflows. I'll talk how you build AI agent in them. What are the model options, whether you need to go with subscription-based models or you can run your local model like Ollama um and connect Ollama models as well in the workflow so that you will be able to build your business workflows within N8N for free. And so let's start with the steps. So uh, if you are using on Mac, so on Mac, if you want to install N8N, you want to connect with your Ollama model, first you need to have brew installed. So have the brew installed on your Mac, and then you can check for install Docker. In the Docker, you can install the Docker desktop, or you can have the Docker and make it running with Ollama. So Ollama is a kind of interface for Docker in Mac. So and then also you can install Ollama very easily using brew command. So once you have Ollama started, you can use Ollama serve command to start the Ollama, and you can also pull any model from Ollama if you want to use it within N8N. So I have my Ollama running. Let me show it to you. I have already installed it. So you see, I have this Ollama running, and these are the models. I have like cloud models also on Ollama. Some of the models I have downloaded it on locally. So GPT OSS 20B, which is very good free model, uh, which is 20 billion parameter. This also we have DeepSeek, Quen, and Minimax. So these are all free models that is running in Ollama. So if I check like hello, which models you which what is Quen capability. So just testing my Ollama is running here. So you can see it's doing all kind of web searches and then it will give me final answer. I have asked like Quen regarding Quen model. So yeah, I mean my Ollama is running. I'll connect this Ollama in N8N. So let's go back to the main topic, which is N8N here. If you go to the steps, so you have Ollama installed, then what you can do is you can run this command. Simply, you can copy this command and run it in your terminal, and then it will basically start your N8N on 5678 port as a Docker container. So if you see which Docker containers, I have run the same command, and if I do Docker PS here, it will show me the N8N running as one of the Docker containers. So if you see here, if let me make it big, a little bit bigger. So I have this N8N running here as a Docker container, and this is the container ID. So if I can even check the N8N logs here if I want to. So I have three things running: N8N Redis, N8N Postgres, and uh, N8N container, the main N8N container which is running. So with that, this all setup you need to run the N8N. If you want to know this command, basically when I installed N8N, I was using this AI tool called OpenWork. I just given it a prompt that can you install N8N for me. It went ahead, it did the web search, and it found all this information, and it can even execute commands. So this is not like other chat GPT or any other AI tool. This tool has your operating system access capabilities. It can control browser as well. So those if you for those of you if you have heard about Cowork, the Cloud Cowork, which is a super agent kind of thing which can execute action on browser, or it can execute all kind of shell command on your system. So similar to OpenClaw, but it's more secure as compared to OpenClaw. So this is the free option of that Cloud Cowork, because Cloud Cowork is $100 per month subscription based. So this OpenWork is a very good free alternative of the Claude Cowork, and I'll make a separate video on these free AI agent tools which you can use to not just get the suggestion, but it they can do action on your behalf. So this tool itself executed all these commands for me. But if you want to do it manually, you can go to this N8N installation. Basically, this is not this is the N8N Community Edition, because the other one is paid. So you can search N8N Community Edition installation command using Docker. So it will give you, or else I'll tell you how to install this tool, which I have the open work, and this can also do the work for you. So if you want to go with that, the N8N Community Edition, maybe you can just do N8N Community Edition. So if you go to N8N Community Edition, it can give you the command to, or you can simply ask ChatGPT as well to how to install it. Or what I'll do is, for your ease, I'll paste this command in the comments in the description, and you can run this command as well. So with that, this is all the setup. Once you run this command and your installation completes, you will be able to run your N8N on this port. So let me go ahead and copy this, and I'll go and run here. So yeah, it came. Now let me talk about like few of all the features of this N8N. Plus, I'll also make a workflow. I'll show how you can make a AI agent in this, how you can connect your local models or your API-based cloud models, how you can connect MCPs. If you are not aware of MCP, MCP is a server similar to HTTP API servers, but it can be more compatible with AI models. So AI models understand the MCP protocol well as compared to HTTP protocol. That's why your normal HTTP servers cannot be directly connected with models, but MCP servers can easily be connected. So MCP is a like a very vast concept, and I'll make a separate video on that. If you want it, comment here, and I'll make a video on MCPs as well. Uh, I have worked a lot on MCP, so I can make a video on that. Let's make your first workflow. So if you just come on the very first time on this screen, here it will show uh, all your workflows that you have built. It will show executions as well. So whatever executions you have done, it will show. It also have inbuilt I think it has inbuilt Langsmith kind of evaluation also, but I'll go on that maybe later. So then you have templates. So if you don't want to build the workflow by yourself, you can go to templates, and there are like 8,000 plus templates. So if you want to import an existing template, basically you can select the template here, and it will simply show you this. What you can do is you can if you click on use for free, so you can copy the template as a JSON, and if you copy the template as JSON, it will you can go to here, and if you create the workflow, you can just click on create workflow, and here on the these three dot buttons, you can import from a file as well. So whatever I selected, whatever I copied here, that I can paste in a file, and I simply import it from here. But for now, I'm not going to do that. I'll make a workflow manually from scratch, so that you'll have better understanding. Importing is very easy. You can simply go to any of these templates. It has templates on sales, it has templates on IT ops, uh, it has templates for marketing. So you can it has templates on tech also. It has template on, like all sorts of templates are there. You can just go ahead. There will be some free templates, some some of the paid templates. You can copy the template, but at the end, if it is using any model, the API key and all that you have to supply from your side. So to import, you can just have the template JSON file here and import it in the N8N. But for now, if I want to make manually, so what I'll do, I'll say demo N8N. So here I'm going to show you how you can make your N8N workflow without paying any money for AP for cloud API models. I'll tell you how you can connect your free Ollama models, which is running locally with N8N workflow, and your business automation will be free, totally free for you. So first, to create a workflow, you need to click on this, and once you click, it will have these options populated. So to build a business workflow in N8N, the first step is having a trigger decided. So there are various kinds of triggers available. One is like trigger it manually. So if you are building for testing purpose, you can trigger it manually as well. Or if you want to, let's say, trigger your agent when any event occurs in any of the external apps. Like let's say if some file is getting dropped on Airtable, or data update on Airtable, or else let's say if you have a Jira update, right? If you want to do on that basis. So you can have the trigger configured from any external tool of your let's say enterprise, or your personal tool, and it that event will trigger your workflow. So that's one way to trigger it. Second is like on schedule basis. Let's say if you want your agent to run every 1 hour or every day on a particular time without your intervention, it should run automatically. So you can have on a schedule basis, and you can select the trigger interval time, and what time it should trigger. So that way also you can trigger. Or else I don't want to trigger schedule basis, I'll tell which one I'll use. So you can have a webhook as well. If you are not aware of webhooks are basically HTTP post calls. And when you make HTTP post call on some HTTP endpoint, that call will basically trigger it. So your N8N workflow is in N8N or some container, and when you make a HTTP post call on a remote URL, this will trigger your workflow. So you can do that as well. So there are other ways as well on form submission. So you can build a form as well here, like some. So what if you see here, you can add a form, like you can build a user form where you can take input from user, and when user submits that form, then it will trigger the workflow. So that also is possible. You can build a UI form also. So I don't want to use this. Let's see. So this you have on form submission. You have when executed by another. So if you, let's say you have other workflow built in this, on execution completion of that, also this can trigger. So you can have that. What I'm going to use is on chat message for the demo purpose. So what will happen is, if I send a message on the chat box, it will trigger my workflow. So I selected this. Next is I want to build an agent here. So what I'll do, click on this plus button and go to AI section, because agent relates relate to AI part. And what I'll select is, there are different things, like let's say you don't want to build a agent workflow, you just want a AI model that should respond to your chat message. So you can select the AI model here. But if I want to build an agent which have some decision making capability, and what is AI agent, what are the different design patterns of AI agent, that I can make a separate video on that. If you want it, to comment, so that I'll check your needs, and I'll make the video on that. I have built a lot of agents in enterprises, and like personal agents. There are different design patterns to build agent, like React loop agent, or multi-agent system, like supervisor or sub-agent pattern. So all this kind of agent pattern, I can make a video on that. If you need it, then let me know. So if I click on AI agent here, so when I click on AI agent, what I need to do for this agent is I need to take input from my chat trigger, right? So it has already selected here that connected chat trigger node, right? So it will get the input from there, and prompt. So prompt will be the prompt which I am sending. That's why it has selected JSON.chat input. So JSON.chat input means whatever input is coming from my chat, input of that should be coming as a prompt. There's no static prompt, it's dynamic prompt. So what I'll do, I'll just close it and it's selected. Now when you see a agent has three main components. If you talk about any AI agent, there are three four main components of agent. First is the brain of the agent. So agent is what? Agent is something that takes action. Now to take that action and to make the decisions, agent should have intelligence and brain to it. So that brain is the AI model. So first step is I need to give a AI model to this agent so that when any request comes to it, it will take the model help to make the decision or execute any task, right? So here it's asking me all these three things. So first is the brain, second is memory, because memory is very important for agent since it has to make a sequence of steps to reach its goal, right? But whatever task you are giving to it, that's the goal, and the sequence of steps that it will make or make a step workflow to reach that goal. So to reach there, it has to make these all these steps with the help of its brain, which is AI model. It also has to remember the previous steps of that sequence, right? Also it has to remember all the conversation context so that if you are asking any follow-up question, it can take reference from the memory. So that's why memory is required for agents to remember all the conversations of yours which it's making with you so that it can ask follow-up question, first thing. Second, even during the single workflow, it has to remember that what steps it's taking during the workflow sequence. So for that also memory is required. If you want to retrieve your previous conversation and ask follow-up question on that, then for that also memory is required. There are different kinds of memory, and memory is very, if you want to be an agent expert or if you want to be a agent developer, then you need to understand memory very well, because memory is also related to your context engineering. And when you build an agent, context is everything. So if you want me to make a video on memories, like how memory works, what are different kinds of memory in AI agent, you can put a comment, and I'll definitely make a video on that because I have a lot of experience on this area. So I'll make a full-fledged video on the memory part. But for now, let's understand this. Memory will be required to understand, to remember the conversation, plus also store the decision which is making during a sequence of workflow. So that's the memories. Third thing is tools. So let's say this agent has brain as well, which is AI model. Second, it has memory also to remember the conversation. But how about executing the steps? So if it has to reach the goal, AI model can just tell that execute this step. But to execute that step, it need access to certain tools, because to execute the step, it may need to fetch some data from the internet or data from special sites, or data from your internal enterprise to enterprise databases. So to do all those actions to fetch the custom data, uh, it needs access to the tools, and tools are provided using model context protocol, which is MCP, because AI agent doesn't understand HTTP or any other protocol. So MCP was made so that AI agent can execute tools seamlessly without a developer having to build each of the tools manually, which was taking a lot of time. And there were different kinds of challenges in that. I'll make videos MCP, and then I'll explain what were the challenges with before MCP tools, because before MCP also people used to make tools, and those tools were very challenging for the model to understand, because each of the tool has its own protocol, has its own you know you can say language to for the model to understand. So it was very time consuming and slow. That's why MCP came in picture. And yeah, I think that's the like short description of MCP. I'll make a full-fledged video on that later. So you have this tool, right? So to provide the tools to this agent, I need to configure some MCP servers, right? So that's the third part. So I explained all these three parts, right? Let's do it in action. So first is I need to add the chat model. So if I go to here and I select any model here. So let's select So you have all kinds of model option. You can either select cloud models if you want to pay for API subscription, or if you want, let's say, if you want your agent to execute complex tasks, then maybe local models will not be sufficient. So you can go with Anthrop Anthropic, or you can go with like Azure models or Bedrock models. So you need to supply the API key for that. And other option is you can have like free models. So two options you have for free models. One is Google Gemini Studio, and you can get your free Gemini Studio key, and you'll have access to different models like Gemini Flash and all those free models. Second is you can also configure your Ollama within this agent, and Ollama is something which allows you to run models locally. So if you do it with Ollama, one more thing is your data will be secure because it will stay within your machine if you are using local model in Ollama. So what I'll do is I'll go with the free option. You can either choose Google Gemini Chat Studio uh, or Ollama. Let's go with Ollama. So if I select Ollama, I've already configured Ollama in here, and you can also do that. You just need to run the Ollama and get the URL of the Ollama. I think this will be the same URL. I'll paste in the description. So you need to get this URL, paste here, and test the connection. It will work. Uh, bef- for this to have, first you need to have Ollama installed on, on your machine. And to install Ollama, you can simply go to this Ollama site, and it will give you this. Just run this curl command, and it will install it. So I have my Ollama running. I have added this URL. And next is you can choose which Ollama model you want to use in this workflow. So if I go to my Ollama, you can see that I go to Ollama. You can see that I have some of the models I have downloaded. You can also download any number of models. You just need to have memory, like storage in your machine to have them running. Plus, your machine should also have good amount of RAM to hold them. So right now I have some models from cloud as well. GPT OSS 20B is one of the good models. So what I'll do is I'll go here. Let's go and I'll select Minimax is a good model to use, or GPT OSS. I'll go with GPT OSS because it has tool calling capability. Please note that you cannot use DeepSeek because DeepSeek don't have tool calling capability. And in this workflow, since I'll be using MCP, so model might have to call some MCP tools as well. So that's why I'm going with GPT 20B. So now it is done. Let's add the memory. So the memory, you can add any database. Also, you need to have some database credential, and you can configure that also if you want to store memory there. I'll go with simple memory. So I can choose here how many message of my conversation should this memory store, right? So for demonstration, I'll just have like 5 messages, and it will store all these messages against session ID. So whenever you start a new session in N8N, you will have a session ID, and this memory will store against that session ID. So if you want to retrieve your conversation from memory, you can simply retrieve that. I've already so yeah, I think trigger is this one only for yeah. So memory is added. Next is MCPs. So MCPs, you can add, like, to add a MCP, there's a tool in to add MCP in N8N, you have a tool called MCP client. So to add any MCP, you need to select this MCP client, and then you need to add those MCP details, right? So if you go to this site called Awesome MCP Servers, so if you are building workflow for your own enterprise, maybe you can have some of your MCPs built by your enterprise, so you can add the details of that. Or if you want to use some like outside MCP, so most of the MCPs has authentication and they are subscription based. But if you want some free MCPs, there are few free MCPs as well. But depends on your needs. If you want to, let's say, build a workflow for your own data, right? So what you can do, you can build a fast API around your data, and then build a MCP server on top of that fast API, and you can add that MCP server endpoint also. If you can build basically your own MCP and add it here. For demonstration, I'll use some of the public MCPs. So if I go to Awesome MCP servers, here you can see MCP servers for all everything. you have heard of, like Google, Gmail, uh, dev tools, like everything these days. Every enterprise has its own MCP. Even uh, this Google Drive has MCP, GitHub has MCP, but most of these MCP require a credential to access. But there are few MCPs which are free. So what I'll do, I'll use those MCPs. And if you are not aware of MCP, definitely comment it. I'll make a detailed video on MCP, how you can make your own MCP, what are the protocols in MCP, and why MCP is important for agents. So yeah, so let me select two of the MCPs which are free. So what I'll do is I'll go to my other workflows and I'll copy the URL from them. So what I'll do is so there are few free MCPs like PubMed. PubMed, if you have heard of, it's a website for all the medical articles. So I can that MCP is free for use. So what I'll do is I'll add that MCP here. So you just need to select. And MCPs, if you talk about, there are two kinds of MCP. One is SSC, which are local MCP. Let's say if you don't want to deploy it for other users, if you want to build for your own use case, then you can have SSC MCP as well, which is server sent event based MCP. It don't have any URL to it, but it runs locally, local host it runs. So you can build that as well. Or else if you want to deploy it for someone else's use, you can build a remote MCP, and that remote MCP runs on HTTP streamable protocol. So when I'll make MCP video, I'll talk about all these things in deep. But for now, just understand that this PubMed MCP is a remote MCP and it runs on HTTP streamable protocol. So since it's a free MCP, the authentication is none. Uh, if I execute it, it will most probably connect with it. So yeah, it connected. When it connects, MCP servers has tools in it. So tools are what? Tools are basically JSON scheme. These are schema which AI model can understand very well. So AI model sees the schema of these tools and then it builds a payload for these tools and call these tools seamlessly without any prompt, or you don't have to supply any prompt to call. Models understand these tools very well. That's why MCP protocol are used with models seamlessly across across industry. So I have executed this MCP. I'll be able to see all the tools here. So I have two options here. Either you select all the tools and supply to this agent, or you just choose selected ones based on your use case. So if I choose selected one, it will show me what tools available in this MCP. So you see there are like various tools available: search article, then get article metadata, find related articles, full. So these are the MCP tools. Now you can ask me a question like, hey, it understand the schema, but in natural language form, how a model can decide that which tool should be called for a particular query. So if you have that thought in the mind, initially I also had the similar thought. So I investigated about it, and you can see each of the tool has this natural language description of what these tools can do, right? So you can see for this tool it says that search PubMed and on and this long description. So when a query comes to AI model and it has access to certain tools, it sees all this natural language description and it kinds of compares the query against this description, and based on its intelligence, it decides the tool based on the tool description itself. So tool description, when you are building MCP, tool description is very important. You need to define the tool description uh, very in a crisp form so that AI model can understand the purpose of the tool and it can choose during the workflow. So you can see each of the tool has very well defined descriptions. For now, I don't want to go with like selective tools. I will go with all the tools. I'll supply all the tools of PubMed to my workflow. So that's it. I have the MCP. Let's name it as PubMed articles. And then let's add one more tool, one more MCP. So I'll add one more MCP tool, which is free. I was searching for free MCP servers, so I found these two only. That's why I'm adding both of them. I didn't found other MCPs which are free. So the second is Context 7 MCP, which I found is free. So just for like to showcase the MCP capability, I'll be using that. So if I go to Yeah, so context 7, if I talk about context 7, context 7 is a website that gives you like details of any new package of any like details about any new tech package, whether it's Python or Java or JavaScript or anything related in tech. Basically, its specialization is in tech side, tech domain. So I'll add that also here. So if I go to this, I'll add this URL. To add a remote MCP, you just need to paste the URL and supply the authentication if it is secure. Otherwise, if it's non-secure, just keep as none. So I'll select estimable here and I'll execute it. Same thing, it will have all the tools and you can do either selective tools. So these are selective tools, or else you can have all tools supplied to the model. So I have supplied all that. Okay, so I have MCP tools, I have memory, I have model. So all three things applied to the agent. Now agent has all the capability to become a autonomous agent here. So what I'll do, I'll test. Let's test it. You know what it does. So hi, I just say hi. So let's see what is first. The message goes to agent, then it sends to the model, and then it uses the memory to store it. Because my message, my first message was just a greeting message, so you don't have to do much here. It don't have to use any tool, right? Also, if you want to make your agent smart enough, if you have several tools, several tasks, and if you want to make the accuracy of your agent very good, then what you can do, you can go to these options and you can select system prompt. So right now I'm not supplying any system prompt because my agent is quite linear enough. It don't have very complex tools or decision making involved. But if you want to build a full-fledged in N8N, you can supply system prompt also. You can and how to build a good prompt, I can make a separate video on that. But here there are three, four main components to build a good system prompt. First, you need to define its goal or what it's supposed to do. Second, you need to supply all the AI, all the MCP tools which are present in this workflow so that it knows that which tools it has access to. So that also you can supply. Plus, you can also define some rules, some boundaries in within which it should work. You can supply the rules that you should not, do this or do that. You should work within these constants. So you can supply those constants as well, and that's how you build a good system prompt. I'll definitely make a video on prompting, prompt engineering. Just put a comment and I'll plan that definitely. I have I have good experience on that side. So for now, I'll just say that you are a helpful assistant. Let's go with that. There are some other options here. You can have like decide a max iterations, because these agents are basically loop. They keep on, you give a goal as a query, and they keep on executing tools and keep on asking the model to execute, to decide which tool to call and what actions to take, unless until they reach the goal. So to decide whether they have reached the goal or not, they keep on checking the condition in the loop, whether the answer which it's giving or the data which it has collected is satisfying the goal or not. If not, then it will keep on running the loop again and again. So let's say if it is not able to fetch at all something, then you need to have some exit condition. So you can define that using max iterations here. So if you want to run this agent just for 5 iteration or 10 iteration, you can define so that your agent should not go in infinite loop, or yeah. So yeah, there are other things. You can enable streaming also. So streaming, if most of these agents or AI tools, they type word by word. They don't like give you drop all the answer at once. So you can enable that also in your agent using in streaming, or batch processing also you can enable. If you want to upload a file, that also you can enable from here. So these are the few of the options that you can enable in your agent. Yeah. Also, you can have a fallback model if you have like multiple models in your agent, and if you think that you need a fallback where first model doesn't work and you want a second model as option so that your workflow doesn't fail, you can enable that fallback as well. So you can have one more model configure. If you want a specific output format, let's say your output should not be simple text, you want a JSON output which should be supplied to some other agent, right? You can have a multi-agent system. So you can have a output parser also configured here. There are different kind of output parser. You see like item list based parser, structured output parser. So if you have a multi-agent system where one agent output should be supplied to other agent as a JSON, then you can have a output parser as well. So these were few of the options. I'll just disable it for now. I'll if needed maybe I can build one more agent in some other video where these features also will be utilized. Okay. So for now we were here. I have given all the three major components which are required by AI agents: the MCP, memory, and the chat model. Chat model is my own local model. I'm not using any cloud API. Okay, so last part of this agent is let me reset this session. So last part of this agent is if I want to deliver the output of the agent to some of my like some of the other application. Let's say I want to deliver the output of the AI agent on WhatsApp or let's say Telegram or different channels, right? So we have all sorts of channels. You don't want to log into the laptop. This should be running somewhere on the remote container and you want that you should be receiving the output of the agent on WhatsApp. So you can just click on this and there are all sorts of apps which has inbuilt integration with N8N and you can select any of them. For this demo, I'll choose Slack, which I have integrated in this, plus I'll choose Discord. So I'll use two channels here. You can integrate WhatsApp or any other thing as well. So to do that, what you need to do? You need to select this action in an app. And then you need to select the app where you want this message to be delivered. So if you want to WhatsApp, you can select WhatsApp here. If you want, let's say Teams, you can select Teams also here. Microsoft Teams is also integrated. I'll select Slack here. So I have Slack. I have my local Slack running. You can see I have this Slack. Also, I have created a bot in the Slack. So there are steps to do that. Those are very easy steps. You can ask any chat GPT or something, and it can give you steps to create the Slack bot. And that bot will act as a user in Slack, which you can integrate here in the N8N. So I'll select Slack here. What action I want to perform on the Slack? I want to get a message, right? Send a message. So this agent should send a message to Slack. So I'll select action here. Now I have already created the Slack account and you can also create. So I have my access key here and that is connected. Next is it's asking me what resource I need to so because Slack has different resources, channel, file and all that. So I'll select message. Then it's a send operation. It's asking me to either send on Slack channel or user since my bot is a user on Slack. So if you go on Slack, this N8N bot I have created. So this is a user, right? So I'll select N8N user here. Second, it will ask me which user. So if I go with ID, if I go with from list, so it is asking me Slack bot or N8N. So I'll go with N8N. Message, you can decide which message. So what I want is, so when you build a workflow in N8N, and you are delivering your message to some other app, you need to basically deliver the output of AI agent to that app. So for that, you you can execute that AI agent and it will create a variable called output here where I'm pointing out, and you can drag that to the message type to message text basically, not the type. Type will be simple text message only. You can select block or anything with attachment. So here instead of sending a hard-coded message, I want a dynamic message, which is the output of my AI agent execution. To have that, I need to execute this AI agent first so that I can have that variable. So let's do that. So to do that, I would say first send a message so that these blocks should be executed and I'll get a variable which I can map to the Slack. So if I do that, okay, I need to first delete this. Let me just do this. So what it's executing the agent is using the model and it's using the memory. So this now executed. Now what I can do is now if I map the Slack, I'll have access to that output variable and I can simply map that in the Slack. So if I go here, you can see now the output variable is there. So if I select it, I can map it, right, like that. So if you build a multi-agent workflow, even one agent output you can map to other agent like this way only. You need to drag and drop. So it's very good. Now if you want to test this step, you can test it also. So okay, so you need to select here user, and you need to select, I didn't select the user, so this is the N8N. And if you this is already mapped, so I don't need to execute again. Let's see. So yeah, so this step is tested. Let me add one more destination. I want Discord as well. So if I select here, yeah, here I'll select action in the app. I'll select Discord. So if I'm selecting Discord, let's see. I can select get a message. So Discord also, you need to create a Discord bot and supply the webhook token here. So I'll select from here the Discord server I can select, and okay, so not bot token, I'll go with webhook, yeah, because I have configured webhook here. There are steps to do a Discord bot you can create easily, and that you can create a webhook URL on Discord and supply it here. So this is the Discord bot account I have, and message, which message I want to supply, the same thing which I told about Slack. I need to supply the output of the AI agent. So if I select this, let's see. So basically I'll what I'll do is let me mm, okay, so I'll need to execute those steps first. Let me execute those steps. Yeah, now it's executed. So I think Slack, it has already sent a message. If you see here, send a message, send a message has been executed, and it has sent this message to Slack. If I go to Discord, now I'll have access to the output variable of the agent. So that output variable I can drag and drop here. So I have dragged and drop. Now the agent will be able to send a message to Discord. So if I execute this step, you can see like it has executed it and it has sent a message. Okay, so now that's it. I think my workflow has been built. If you want to, let's say, deploy this workflow somewhere, you can publish it, or else you can also, download this workflow and you can deploy on your, let's say, Kubernetes or Docker. You can deploy it easily. You can download you can even download this a JSON of this, and you can execute it. So yeah, you can download this and you can run it on your own infrastructure also. Or if you want to run it, you can run in some other instance of N8N as well. If you want to run it on your teammates system, you can download it and run it. So now let's, everything is configured, so let's test it end to end. So before testing it, I want to explain how AI agent queries data flow works, right? That way you will have better understanding, and it will show colors. Whichever node is executing, it will highlight that node. So when if I have already explained how the workflow works, you will be able to relate it better. So how it works is, if you talk about any AI agent, how it works, it has a loop in it. Basically, when you type a message and send that to agent, that's kind of goal for the agent, and it has to reach that goals anyhow. To reach that goal, it will use three things. One is the AI model, second is MCP servers and tools, and third is the memory. So if I'm asking like, get me latest articles on internet, or like let, latest news, or let's say if give me a latest article on some pharma area, right? So it, since it's related to pharma, it has to call this PubMed MCP tool. How it will decide? It will decide based on the model. So when I ask a question, first it will go to the AI agent. The AI agent has a workflow in it to and in that workflow, these models and tools are mapped. So for then AI agent will basically ask the AI model, because agent don't have intelligence. Its brain is the model. So it will forward that message to AI model, and it will say that, hey, to execute this goal or to achieve this thing, what I need to do. So this model will think using its intelligence, and along with the query, this agent also supplies all the tools which are connected to this agent. So it will say that, hey, user has asked this question to get a PubMed article. Now you tell me how to do it, given that we have access to PubMed MCP and context 7 MCP. So it will say that, hey, give me what things need to be do, what steps should I take to execute it, given that I have access to these MCP tools or servers. So since model has the query plus it knows that these MCP servers are available, this model will respond back to the agent in step 2 that, hey agent, please execute PubMed tool to get the PubMed data first. So it will agent will get that response from the model. Then agent will call that PubMed tool using the MCP protocol, and PubMed will give the data to AI agent. Now this AI agent will supply that data again to the model, and model will use that data to create the final response for you. Then model will give that answer back to AI agent again. And then at the end step, since you have integrated these two destinations, the AI agent will make calls to these two Slack and Discord, and it will forward the response to these two. So that's how end to end it works. Let's see all this in action. So I'll ask like, give me, okay, let's execute this context 7 MCP. So what I'll ask, what are details of latest Docker? So it's related to text, so it should execute context 7. Let me name it context 7 so that it will be easy for understand. Let's ask. Also, when it executes this workflow, you will see all the steps happening in the right side under logs section. So you'll be able to see output of each of the components. I'll highlight that when it executes. So you can see first the chat has triggered. This is the message which will be stored in the memory. AI agent, then memory, then model again. It has asked model what should I do, and then it model has told please execute context 7. So it has executed context 7. Context 7 has given this output, you can see. So this raw output, it went to again stored in the memory. Then again it went to the model, and given this whole conversation went to the model, and so now let me know if you want to make videos on other AI topics, like there are a lot of tools coming every week, or if you want to make videos on core AI agent concept, how you can build agents, how you can what are LLMs, how they work, transformer, or any other topic. If you're interested, put a comment and I'll definitely plan a video on that. uh, Thank you.